North Carolinians could soon raise the stakes of card games played in their homes and in neighborhood clubhouses. Yesterday, a House Judiciary Committee advanced a bill that would provide legal protection to people who gamble on card or board games on private property. The sponsor of the bill is Republican State Representative David Willis, who represents the Waxhaw area of Union County. Now, he says this bill is needed to protect people having harmless fun. Willis cited a dispute between one of his Union County constituents and their homeowners association as a motivating factor of introducing this bill.
Joining us now is our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. I'm sure that people who hate HOAs are like, this is why you don't need them, because now we have a law going through that needs to protect people from having a card game in their house. Khalif, as an attorney, what are you thinking with all of this?
I don't hate HOAs, but I am all in on this one. Let's be clear.
Oh, here we go.
You like that, right?
I was waiting on that betting reference.
But at the end of the day, I like what this rep is attempting to do. And typically we're reactive when we come up with laws, when we come up with statutes or ordinances. Something has happened either on a personal level or on a nationwide or statewide level. And then you're like, okay, what can I do? If I'm in this situation, he probably heard about this incident happening. It was like, hey, let's kind of figure out how we can get around that. But it does open up, as we mentioned before, those floodgates for some things that you may not want to happen. While at the same time, while North Carolina is trying to get and entice gambling to start here with sports gambling last year. Now we also are trying to shut down gambling in a couple of other instances where you see those arcades, those fish tables. There's a mass attack on there. It's been illegal for a number of years, but you see them on every corner around Charlotte and any other city that you can go through in our state. And so while you're saying, on the one hand, we're raising gambling ability, and on the other hand, we're taking it down, this one's kind of in the middle. Where he's saying no harm is being done. You know, no one is betting the farm. That's what he said in his statement. I mean, but you also have those disclaimers that you see at the end of any gambling advertisement that said, look, if you don't know how to slow down, if you don't know how to stop, call for help. You know, those services are out there. If you're in the moment of gambling, you don't really know if you're betting the farm or not. And so it's kind of like a mixed bag. I mean, I do like the initiative, but I am worried that you're opening up the door that now I can just open a casino and it's just in my house.
I know a guy who knows a guy, Khalif, who may be involved in some neighborhood gatherings where such sports are taking place.
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
I'm really trying to work around the language. We talked about language, how important language is, right?
Yes, yes.
I'm all over the place.
Don't want to incriminate him. I got it.
Okay, but that is private property where they are. It's not necessarily in someone's house, but they try to like limit. You can't bet more than $100. We're going to limit you so that you don't bet your mortgage if you have an addiction to something like this. I mean, is this bill necessary? Because who's actually enforcing it currently?
Jason, you're all over it. That enforcement portion is the aspect. Even though this is on the books, no one is busting down the door of the neighborhood party that's betting, you know, 50 cents a hand.
Yeah.
It's the problem is that we're looking at why laws like this were started. And it was because people were betting the farm, because there was no regulation, because there could be any payout amount. And that's kind of why when I talked about the fish tables, those institutions that have those fish tables, those arcades, they can have a payout of 80% or 10%. Because there's no regulation, it's capped at whatever they want to cap it at. And so if there is no regulation, a lot of things, it's the Wild Wild West basically. And so I am worried what can happen from this, but I do understand what this person is saying is that, look, they've went too far. You're punishing folks from trying to have fun. Yeah, they're doing meaningless, harmful bets, and now you're making it seem like they're trying to open up the MGM down the street in the neighborhood. It's not the same thing.
The worry, though, is that somebody could ask for legal protection. You think of like Nathan Detroit from Guys and Dolls. I got an illegal crap game going over here, but they're saying, no, this is in the basement of my house. I'm okay, officer. Does that prevent law enforcement being able to crack down on illegal gambling rings?
No, I mean, if this law passes, then it would, right? But I think in its current state, there is nothing stopping a law enforcement officer if they get a tip that you guys are gambling at the house in dominoes, as this mentioned, dice, or cards, or board games, as it says. They could at some point come in there and charge folks with illegal gambling and running some type of gambling ring. I mean, and I would just be cautious, because if it's multiple houses, they'd also be able to charge you with, you know, conspiring and running a continual criminal enterprise. Because it's two locations, they can say you were kind of like a RICO charge. And so then you turn a game that was a couple guys having a good event. You hosted at your house, I hosted at my house. Now we've conspired to do this criminal enterprise.
Wow.
Get a RICO charge.
And I've represented folks that have done that just because they've owned multiple arcade shops. Not trying to do some mafia style stuff, but they said you own two, we'll charge you with these conspiring charges.
Oh, wow. Okay, there was a lot more to that segment than I anticipated, so I'm going to fold. I'm going to fold on all that. That was a lot. Thank you.
My hand was better anyway.
It was. You said you went all in, and you weren't bluffing, man, for real. Thanks.